Yeah, hello. Welcome back to the grind. I'm with the 1982 Volkswagen Westfalia and spent the week, number one, getting the motor properly mounted into the back of it. The new Subaru motor, Subaru 1997 Legacy Subaru motor. And then the other half of the week I spent getting the wiring loom sorted out. And that's the wiring loom actually working. This is fuel pump turning on and off. Well, the wire to the fuel pump turning on and off. It's in test mode right now. And I've got it so that I'm pretty satisfied that the computer is working and all the connections there are correct. I did have some problem with getting the proper ignition wire on there. That was frustrating. But anyway, so here's the wiring that part of the harness that I didn't use, lots of it in there. That's the wire that I pulled out of the harness that I did use. And now I'm going to next time we'll carry on getting that harness installed properly. So stick around, see everything I did. Lots of work getting welding up that thing for hold the motor up, and then getting the motor actually to be stable. Then lots of work on not that. I didn't show that much of the wiring, but I did follow along from a thing on Busaru.com, and somewhere in there you'll see a link to Busaru.com, and they're very, very helpful for this type of conversion. They seem to have done it 100 times, and they make it look easy. It's not. Okay, see you later. Yeah, the Busaru guys make it look easy, and it is doable. It's not that hard, but some things you can get yourself lost in it pretty quickly because it's a lot of wires. Not for the faint of heart, I guess. Yeah, so here I am back on this right, and on the Volkswagens. This is all built now. Everything's level, and it all lines up nice this way. So just got to get it onto the car and get the down bits made. That's the next little bit of the issue. Yeah, there's the last bit to go on, and that's solid on there now. I've got it through the frame up here, and then this is just tacked on right now. So I'm going to build the other side, make it look like this, then I'll take it over to the bench and weld it up and put some more bracing in. Like I'll put another piece of tubing from here down to here. Then I'll get a piece of tubing just to cap that end there, I think, or just a piece of steel to cap that end. Then that should be pretty good. Like that really makes it solid there now. Now, I've got I've got this thing here holding it so that it's putting a bit of pressure on the motor mount there to bring it straight. And I'll see how that works out. Okay. Well, might be I'll wait and see. I'll get the other side done, and then we'll be see where we go. Where are you at? Oh, here I am, getting the light arranged. So now I've got this drilled in here to the right spot, better than the other side, more centered, and then I need to tack this on, and then it's all assembled. Okay, I'll get that tacked on. Let's see. I don't know if you can watch or not. Maybe you can. See if I can put you up here. Yeah, right there. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the welding on the underneath the frame, just tacking stuff on. That's all. Now I'll just take it all apart and take it over to the bench and weld it up. That might be a tomorrow job. Okay, there it is. That's cool. I'll put a piece of this stuff in here, and that should get it because I can't get too close to this hole right there for that side. So I'll put a piece of the thing down, and then I'm gonna put a U around it or something, and see it. I'll figure out something. Maybe back here a bit, I'll put a U around here so that it's got lots of side. It won't do this twisting. Yeah, I'll put a gusset down there. I don't know what you call it, but anyhow, we'll get it done. Yeah, here now, that's welded up, and I think it's okay there. I don't think I need to do anything more. This part here comes down and grabs down here and up there, and it grabs all along the edge there. This part here grabs everything, so I think it's pretty solid. And I don't want to get in the way of these bolt holes because they have to be tightened up. So anyhow, time will tell, I guess, right? Some of the welds are pretty nice. Some of the welds are pretty shitty. Maybe I should weld that. I've got it welded on the inside. I didn't weld it on the outside. I guess I better weld that up and then call it done. And maybe I'll just weld up. No, I can't get on that one. That's good. Alright, so I'll just weld up this. Well, that'll be the same as the other side, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll just let it be. Yeah, so the eagle-eyed among you will notice that this side here is 10 millimeters higher, well, longer on here than it is on here. And that's because this section here is just a bit shorter than this section here. And so it came to here and then went that other 10 millimeters upward. So that would be why that is. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so we'll, yeah, that's the way it is. Get this stuck onto the car, and yeah, this part here must be longer or something. That's longer. About the same. Don't know why. Something went on there anyhow. This one here is on the level is a bit higher. Maybe it's just the way the car is. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I built it to fit. So what I'm going to do is paint it. Number one, paint it, and number two, get it onto the bottom of the motor, and then let the motor come down off of its supports that I have it on, and see what happens. Yeah, that's got a rattle can build on it. So now I'll leave that set for 20 minutes or so, and then I'll give it another coat. In the meantime, I'll see if I can get these axles back into where they're supposed to live on this thing. Okay. That was much easier than I expected. So both sides are on. Got a couple of these little things. I got to cut that off there and off the other side. These were new a couple of years ago. Yeah. So now I got to figure out what the torque specification is on that, and then we'll tighten them up. So first, I'll go over here and give this another coat of paint. Rust-Oleum, or yeah, that's Rust-Oleum. My favorite paint. Yeah, I'll give it about 20 minutes, let that dry up, and then I'll put it on the car. I'll get the torque those things up, and then I'm going to change the oil filter. I have an oil filter for this car too. So I'll get the motor all installed before I have to change the oil filter. Yeah, you can see that. So 33 foot-pounds, 45 Newton meters. So I just put a pipe wrench on here. Oops, I gotta tighten that pipe wrench. Put a pipe wrench on this to hold it. Make sure that the little wrench is in there all the way, because otherwise it will round that out. That'll be bad news. Well, how come the pipe wrench won't hold that? Oh yeah, that's just what I said was going to happen, isn't it? Two done. Yeah, this is the one, the last one, hopefully. You can hear it when it bottoms out there. I'm just using this pry bar over on the wheel. I don't know, you can't see that bit. That's it. That's them all. Done. I'll turn it around one more and double check that first one. Come on out there, you. Doesn't hurt to double check. This one? Okay, that's tight. Oh, there. That's done. There we go. That's like, what did I say? 33 foot-pounds. They're all done tight now. Should be good. Now, next is getting the motor mount onto it, right? You might as well watch that, see what happens. See what goes on here. That going in the right spot? Yeah, close enough. There, I got everything sort of loosely in here. That's up in place. These are in place. I'm just going to tighten these, this side, the other side, then I'll tighten the motor bracket. Then we'll take the whatever you call that thing off. Go into the other side for a second. Have to get a different socket. Yeah, here we go. We'll get the motor mount tightened up now and see how things look. Would use a longer thing, but that's alright. Need a deeper socket or a wrench. That's tight. That's tight. I guess that's in there, right? Solid. Lots of room here for clearance. Lots of room around here so I can get into stuff. Where's my little light? Yeah, there. Lots of room and around there. That's all on. Have to do the gas pedal linkage and stuff like that. And I'll change this oil filter right away too. Now, I'll let it down and see how it looks. We'll let the pressure off that. Hang on. Too many stuff in my hands. Yeah, so I've let the van down off the lift so it's level on there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is level. And it's also level this way. So let's take this stuff here off and see what happens. We don't know what will happen. Will the motor fall out? We don't know. I guess that's how fast that happens. So it didn't fall out. That's a good sign. Right over there. I think it's pretty solid in there. So that right here just touches on that, right? I guess that won't hurt anything. I'll see if I can bend that in a bit so that it doesn't have a sharp corner on it anyhow. Be able to do that with a funny wrench. Now I'll get this. I'll get the chains off it and see if I can check some levels somewhere. Don't know where to check the level on it, but imagine right here would do. Can't see it anyhow. So it's a little bit, what way is that? If you lift up the front of it, don't know if that would be level or not. Maybe one of these things would be level across the rail here. Can't get into that anyhow. I'll check it from underneath. I guess underneath would be a good place to check it, right? Hang on. Let's get down there with a light. Pressing wrong button. Okay, here we are. So it's not exactly level. It's a little bit off. So I could shim this down a bit and that would make it come more level, but I think I'm gonna live with it the way it is because that gets it up. I need to get it, need clearance. There's how much clearance it is, which isn't that much. So be happy with it where it is. That'll be fine. Okay, now did you see any of that, or am I upside down and backwards? What? There's level right there, so it's got to come down a bit to make it run level. Okay, not gonna do it. Yeah, so I guess that's how you construct a whatever you call that thing, a My oh my. Motor cradle for a Subaru to go into a Volkswagen. I think that's pretty damn good. Pretty darn good. We'll be happy with that. Now, next I'll get these chains off of here and carry on getting stuff hooked up to it. Then maybe in a little while we'll see if it'll run. Maybe it'll run. Who knows? Then I got to figure out the cooling system. I've got a radiator coming from Go Westy, and then I have to figure out how to get the water to go from here to way up to the front. So that'll be a bit of a challenge, but I'm pretty sure we'll figure that out. Like that's, which radiator hose is that? One of the other. Could almost put a radiator back here with a fan going this way, couldn't I? There'd be enough airflow, would there? There might be. That might solve a lot of problems. Build a bracket back here, because you don't need a. This used to be able to get in there, right? I wonder if that would be the way to go. I'll think about that, because there'd be lots of airflow back here, and that saves an awful lot of trouble getting that thing up to the front there. Let me think about it. And I imagine if I took that license plate off of there and put a grill on there, that'll let air come through there too. I mean, that might be a good thought. Well, what do you think? Hey, well, anyhow, we'll get there. Won't be this episode. Okay, so here we are. That's one Subaru motor inside of a Volkswagen van. Cool. Now tomorrow I'll see if I can start wiring it up and figure out how to make it run. That'll be the next challenge on here. But right now it's in, and that's interesting. That's where the motor bracket goes right there. You can see it underneath. Or the motor cradle goes underneath there. Keep an eye on it for a while until I'm 100% happy that it's strong. Okay, so that's enough of that for now. We'll come back on tomorrow. Yeah, changed the oil filter. And then what else did I do here? I'll show you. I went up and I found the exhaust. There's no gasket or anything there, and just one bolt holding it. I cleaned up all these studs so that threads would move easy. Then I put this on. That's the way that it'll sit going the other way around too if I want it, but I think I want it going this way. Then I'll bring a pipe around here and have like a shorty exhaust pipe here going out the back. That'll be good. That makes it very easy to make an exhaust system for it. Anyhow, it's 2-inch pipe, which is okay. Then that's on. Then I went over and into the other shop and brought over a real project. Now try and figure out how to make all this stuff work in the Volkswagen. That'll be interesting. We'll get at it. There's a bit of spaghetti, right? I don't know what happens with Fitzy, but he seems to read my mind because he's just one step ahead of me, wiring up doing this exact what I'm doing right now onto a Ford Crown Vic type thing. But same idea, making some sense out of a wiring harness. So lots of this wiring stuff don't need. It's not anything to do with the motor and running the motor. But now I've got to figure out what I do need. Oh boy, because there's lots of stuff. Anyway, I think there's a computer. It's likely pretty important not to break that, so I think I'll just unhook that and put it over to the side. Then this is the fuse box, and that'll be helpful to know what goes where, because I have a thing that tells me what fuses are what, right? Okay, then I can trace down some wire. There's a bunch of stuff that's been cut like that, so I presume that that would be like doors and stuff like that, but you never know. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'm going to clean the floor a bit, and then I'm going to lay it out underneath the car on down here, and then start over there, and then start going through it all. See if I can stretch it out and see what goes where. Yeah, so what's important and what's not important in all this. So all that stuff there can likely just get clipped out, but I won't do that right away. I will. This stuff here is important. That's the airflow sensor. This one, I don't know what that is, but I'll find out sometime. I just plugged it into that plug because that's what it fits into. This is what you call your igniter. I don't know what it does, but that's what it does. And these are a couple of grounds. I don't think this one here is important. This is the cruise control box. Whether we ever use it or not, don't know. This is, I think that's the ignition relay, and that's fuel pump relay, or vice versa, one or the other. This is the OBD2 thing, so I'll keep that. Otherwise, it's like lots of stuff you don't need. All this, like all that, don't need. Then this one here, this goes to the computer. This goes to the engine. So I'm going to strip out a pile of this wiring and just keep the stuff that, well, I'll keep every wire that comes off of the computer. Make sure that I don't clip any of them away. And then up here, I already showed you this. I don't think there's anything else up there that we need. This is the wire that goes to the alternator, and it used to be in the back of that thing. It feeds into here, and then there's two more wires come out of there, but don't see any matching wires for that. And then there's a couple of wires here that seem to go nowhere, but I'll check it out and see if I can find out where those wires went. Like here's a red and white one there, but it's just cut off and in a jumble here. Oh dear. Likely was important to something, but anyway, I'm going to start stripping off all of the tape and bearing up the wires, and I'll just I'll take the tape off, but just leave little rounds to keep the harness together. Then when I get it all stripped out, then I'll re-tape it with that cloth tape stuff. Yeah, spent the afternoon on it, and I've only clipped one wire. I have to put that back together if I need to. I don't know if that's an important wire. I don't know where it goes. Anyway, all that stuff is stripped out, and anywhere where I've got green tape is where it's important for the motor. Like this, that green tape here. So I'll clear out everything that doesn't have green, like isn't important for the motor, and then see what happens. Anyway, but that's, carry on. This is important. I'll keep that. That's cruise control. Don't know if I ever use it or not, but it's there. Okay, see you tomorrow. More wire stripping. So this is a really good resource here. Busaru.com, busaru.com, and just dig through there. This is 1995 to 99 wiring harness connectors. You got to keep on. And then there's a video that you can click on. But first off, right there is the this big blue thing, right, which is where the computer plugs into. Second one, that thing is this thing here, and that's called, well, let's see, main ACU connector is that one. This one here is a ground bus sensor power bus. sometimes two of these, like now there's just one on this one, which is all right. Then the relays, fan, ignition, and fuel pump relays. Let's find them right here. Now I don't have, there's one of them missing here. Don't know why, but I'll find it somewhere in here. I think that's a green. Let's have a look here. Fan, ignition, and fuel pump. The green one's a fuel pump, and there's a white connector for the fan. Bet you that's it right there, eh? No. Find another relay that looks like that, maybe. But I'll find it on the pinout what colors they are. So I need to find, that's fuel pump, that's ignition. Need to find the fan one. I'll find that before too long. These two things here, they're not it. All right, I'll keep on digging. So that one I have to find, right? I think that's the only thing I have to find still. Then over here, the OBD2 and the test select thing. I found them yesterday. They're on here. OBD2. Wonder where it is. Down this way? Nothing down this way. This can all be clipped. But I'll just clip the ends off and then go hunting for wires that come out of there. Here's the OBD2 thing there. And this, then that's OBD2, and then there's this thing here, not that one. There's a blue, there's a green thing that looked like that somewhere on here. I will find it, I know. Anyway, I found it yesterday. I guess I have to just get a little bit more arranged. This one here I'm not going to clip off either because that's the cruise control. And then somewhere I found another thing that's part of the cruise control. I'll find that. I'll show it to you in a minute. Wait till I get this sorted out a little bit more organized. So here they are here. So this is the stuff. This thing here is the cruise control actuator. So I'll leave that on. This one, these are the like you clip these together and it goes into test mode. And this is for the some shops, a Subaru shop would be able to plug into that to do diagnostics. Okay, found them, right? And they've got everything I'm keeping has got the green tape on it. This thing called this one here is called an igniter, and it's somewhere in here. I saw it down here, maybe. No. Better put some tape on this one because that's one of them right there. I think that's 5. So that one there is the airflow sensor and the igniter. Let me get my tape out and I'll put a tape on that one. Yeah, so that one there, the igniter is, that's the airflow sensor. This one's the igniter right here. I think that's, don't know what that one is for sure yet, because then I've got these two up here which are, oh, let's go that one right there. That's this thing, which is atmospheric pressure sensor. So it's got a couple of vacuum lines on it and stuff, and it's got a plug like that. I think that's this one here plugs into there, atmospheric pressure sensor, right? And then this one that's right next to it, mass airflow sensor, that's this one. Where is it? Down here somewhere. I saw it a minute ago. Always in my hand a minute ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the mass airflow sensor there. Then those things are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just see. Engine connectors. So I've got the 3 square things. Wonder where they are. Hang on, I'll find them. Then the engine connectors, which are these things here. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's ice coming off the roof. That's an O2 sensor. This one, I think it's more ice coming off the roof. Sounds dangerous up there. Anyhow, this one here may or may not be an O2 sensor. There's only 2 wires on this, and there's 4 wires on that one. And I only have one O2 sensor that came with the wiring, came with the car, right? Or came with the motor. So I don't know that, maybe it just has a one O2 sensor? I don't know. 1997 Subaru does it, or doesn't it? Who knows? The guys at Subaru would know. I'll ask them sometime. Then what else? Then there's this one here. Alternator connectors. Now this one, it's already been chewed up somehow or other, but that's okay. Alternator connector, gray and white to B charge lamp, lug to B, clip close to the engine relay box, which is done already. I'll show you that, and that's way over here. So this stuff here, that's those wires. Now these wires that go into this one, they're still, as far as I can tell, they're intact. No, they're not. I'll get it out eventually. But they, there's one little wire here that, what color is it, I wonder? Black with white, comes out of here somewhere. This one here, that's the ignition light switch. Okay, and then these wires here, I'll have to hook them in somewhere. But that's already been well clipped. Okay, that stays, and I'll figure out the one wire that goes. Don't know all that stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start clipping these ends off here that I don't need, because they're right in the way. So I think the fuel pump relay is integrated into this box here somehow, or this doesn't seem to be over there. I don't see any connector for it anywhere. But what I'm going to do is, don't know what I'll do. I'll see if I can figure it out. It's supposed to be by the wiring diagram. It's supposed to be a brown, red, yellow, violet, like a violet wire is the triggerer, and pin number 32 out of the back of the computer. I don't see a wire of that color here, but we'll carry on, and I'll find it as we get along, I think. Anyway, I have to go and carry on removing all of the tape off of there. Then we'll start weeding out the wire that I don't want. Yeah, so now I'm snipping off ends that I don't need. Don't know, but that's what they are. They're all going, except for the stuff that's got green tape on it. So I've got a bucket full of stuff in there. That's even up to the dashboard here. I could snip it off this side of the dashboard, and it just, that's That's what I did. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'll be putting wires back together. So these things here work pretty good for snipping off these. And once all this is done, then you can start pulling wires out, right? The wires will pull through the thing, through the harness. And then that'll get rid of a pile of this weight here. If they're not hooked onto anything. That one I need all that. This one here goes. Can you see this? Took a while to get this all done, but I guess we're done. I think that's pretty near it. Let's see how. We'll just go through the whole system here, right? That's all green wires. Green. Over here. This one here, what's at the end of this row here, is all green. This one here, that can get the old snipperoonie, right? Yep. I'll just snip it right there. I was worried about, you know, what would happen if I snipped too much, but then what happens then? You just follow the wire back and get it fixed. That's all green. This stuff here is all green. What's at the end of this wire? Nothing. It's all nothing. Anyway, and then this is definitely all green. This, I didn't put green tape around that, better in case I get carried away here, because I wouldn't want to be putting all those wires back together. There's only like 96 of them, right? Okay, that's green. Let's move it all over this way now. This thing here is green. That stuff there is green. That's the cruise control thing, which is green. I did snip off the other end of it where the wire goes to the actual button. And then that's the OBD2 thing, which is green. And this is your relays, but I kept that one on there just in case that's what needs to plug into that relay. I'm not sure. But well, now we just grab every wire that doesn't have a termination and give it a yank. I'll clean this off. Well, here's another one of these brown, like the little things that might be important, but there's, okay, don't know. I'll just put green on that for now because it's not where the thing said it would be, but it looks like one of those. It looks like this thing way down here, which is that same idea, but I think it likely isn't. But I'll wait and see what happens. Now I just grab one wire at a time. I'm going to throw them on the floor over here. See if anything comes out. Not that one. Just grab them. If something comes out, that's good. If not, well, that's good. We'll pull it from another end. There's some wire gone. I guess I better untape this. Yeah. Anyway, this I'll just keep pulling wire for a while and see that little pieces come out like that, and that'll lighten the load. Yeah, I'm getting it thinned out pretty well, but this, like, I clipped this wire by mistake, so I fixed that. And then I also clipped off this ground wire by mistake, so I just put that back on. Huh. Anyway, there might be still a few more dead end wires here to get out. I'll just keep on working at that. There's quite a bit came out of the harness over there. Yeah, so I think I've got mostly everything out. I've got a couple of wires here that go into these motor connectors there. I must have snipped something somewhere. Who knows? It'll show up. Then there is like a bunch of these where this would be, where this went to a different, like it was a shared connection, and we've taken that connection out of it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going through and finding these things here and make them look like that one there. I'll just show you how. It doesn't take long, but wiring, hey? Wiring. Where's my... So you just cut that off there, and cut that off there. Don't get the wires mixed up. Just do one at a time. That way they won't get mixed up. Yeah, there. Then I got this little tool here. That strips them off, right? Next tool is, you take a piece of wire connector, right? This thing, does that hold it? That won't fit. This one will. So we'll just put that on down here. Then, next tool is this one here. Got all sorts of tools just for doing this, right? Yeah, get it in the right spot. Then just give it a good yank, because that's what happens sometimes. So when that happens, bear off some more of that and just double that over. Because if you can yank them apart, they're not going to last long. Am I looking in the right spot here? That won't yank apart. Now where's my other end? Here it is. Nope. What's it look like? Green with a white stripe. Here it is. God. Don't lose the ends. There's lots of slack in the cable, so I'm not worried about pulling it too tight. This got a ratchet on it so it holds itself together, which makes it easier. And it won't let go until it's clicked in. So that's good and tight. Then just slide that over there. That'll be fine. There you go. Fixing the cables. Yeah, so I've got these wires. 1, 2, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wires that go into the ECU, but they aren't hooked up to anything out there. I've got 2 wires here that are going into these engine plugs and not hooked up anywhere out there. None of the colors match. Well, maybe this green and this one here might have to be hooked into that one somehow. I don't know how I got it cut out, but. And then I've got this red wire here, which could be one of these ones right here. And it also goes, that's to the, what do you call that thing? The port. And then there's this other red wire here that also goes to this port, which is diagnostic port for Subaru guys. That's diagnostic OBD2. OBD2 port for us normal guys. And then there is a red with black. This red with black goes all the way over here, and it doesn't hook onto anything. It's got to be power supply or something, maybe, but we'll find that also. First off, I'll see if I can find out what these ones are. What I'll do is I'll just bear it here and then use the what do you call that thing? My blue thing right there for checking wires, and see which pin it comes from. And then I've got a list of, over here I've got a list of the pinouts. Okay, I'll show you as I get along. Okay, here's the ones that are in here with nowhere to go yet. The air conditioning relay, right? Red fan control number 2. Red fan control number 1 for the relay. AC switch. Speed sensor, this one's important. Neutral switch. Engine speed sensor, and the malfunction button. Malfunction light. Now I think this one here likely should be hooked into that thing there somehow or other. I think that's, maybe I just clipped that wire off there. So I'm gonna go, first off, I'm gonna go red. I'm gonna go hunting for an end that has this green with brown on it, and I'm gonna go hunting for the red with blue on it in my box of connectors, and just see what it's connected to. It might find something. Yeah, so these things here are both relays. I think this one here is the one I can use for the fan, and this one here, I don't know what it's for, but I'm gonna dig back in and find out. Anyhow, it might have been for the air conditioning thing. Anyhow, okay, that's about all today. Anyhow, all apart. Still got to figure out a bunch of stuff. Do some more research on the Subaru channel. I'm sort of following him step by step. I'll put a link in here somewhere, you know, at the bottom, or maybe I'll just write it in there, eh? Okay, see ya. Yeah, so I think I've got mostly everything looked after. So here's, off of that, there was 2 connectors. Whoa, where is it? On here. 2 wires that came off of here, off of this connector there. This connector there, that's good English too. This green one here, and the purplish one you can see sort of right in there. Now the purplish one, there it is, this purple one here, I sent it all the way up here to where the OBD2, or not the, where the computer connector is, and it is the water temperature sensor. So we can hook that up to a water temperature gauge, or they use the OBD2 gauge. Either way, it's okay. Then the other wire that came out of there is that, where am I here? Oh, wrong one. That green wire, right? Purple wire went up that way, green wire, and I ran that all the way along here and followed down in here and to here. And this is oil pressure sending, goes to the oil pressure switch on, comes out by that red black box in the back of the thing. And this thing here is for power at the black box. So that's okay. Then I think everything else is okay. I don't know. I think that's it. Like those two go to the black box, and then the rest of it will run it. This is going to be the fan relay eventually, I think. Not sure on how that'll work. There is a switch in the fan. It'll go to the temperature sender in the fan, and then I'll just get a couple of wires onto it here like that and that. That would be input wire, which I can get off of one of these, and that would be output wire going to the fan. Okay, and this is the trigger here. All right, now and then I think I can go and start finalizing the loom. This ground wire goes through everything. I think everything gets grounded there somehow. Somewhere, somehow, everything's grounded. Hopefully that's got a ground up to there somewhere. We'll just, must be. I didn't take any grounds out. And there's a couple of these things where they're just hanging out here in case I want to make a ground on something. I left that one out here. But everything should be a ground wire going everywhere because I didn't take any out of it. Okay. Now we can do some testing on it, I think. I'll get that set up and figure it out. Okay, I hooked up the OBD2 and it comes on for a minute when I get, like, there's ignition on right there, key on, power from there, ground here, but somehow you have to ground these things properly. So maybe I have to plug it into the motor and then see what I can get all plugged into the motor and then run a test on it. This doesn't matter yet. I'd like to see if the fuel pump will click, and that'll be a tomorrow thing because got to bring it down and work at the back there now. Okay, interesting anyhow. Whoops, here I am. So I worked at this wiring business, and I followed all the instructions except I made one mistake. See this wire here, I said I put in as a key on wire. I hooked it to the wrong circuit. So of course nothing worked. Now the key on circuit should be hooked into this yellow wire right here, and I'll have to change this key on so it hooks up down somewhere in here on a different wire. So anyway, that seems to have solved the problem, and it's getting, like, the Bluetooth connector here is connected and it's getting data. It says engine coolant temperature is 16 degrees. I'll believe that. Mass airflow is 78. Like, it's got stuff there for that. I just stuck that stuff in there for to see what it would get. See, engine load. We'll just put a. They recommend no more than 5. See what happens here. Open loop not yet satisfied with conditions to go closed loop. Bank 1. Yeah, good. Calculated engine. Mass flow. I want to find the absolute throttle position. I'll see if that moves if I move this. Yeah. So it knows what it's doing. Huh, cool. Push it all the way. 100% absolute throttle position. So stuff must be working. Okay. Now there's still a bunch of work to do, but I think I could actually get it. I'll fix up that one bit of the loom where I've got the wire going wrong, and then I'll take it out again and start taping it up so it looks decent. I think I've got, and I'll figure out where stuff has to go before I do that. So this little thing here, I've got a 12 volt thing. So it's only using 18 watts or 1.5 amps coming out of that 12.34 volts. Then you can just adjust the voltage on it. So that means that that is okay. The computer is okay. It means that all the wiring seems to be close to right. I'm going to do some more thinking of this before I start taping everything up. See where I want that to go. Yeah, I could run this out. This would be power 2. That's power 2. This is power from. So I need to get this connected to this. Key on. No, it needs to be always on, right? Because then it'll run after the car. You shut off the car, it'll run until the temperature drops properly. That's what you want it to do. Okay, that seems to be, that's satisfying. I was getting to be a little bit frustrated because I haven't been talking to you because I've been trying to figure out what wire I've got wrong. And I traced off all sorts of wires back to here, and I've got this list of what's supposed to be what and everything like that. So anyway, good. I'm happy. It seems to be okay. So we'll carry on, and I'll start cleaning up. I'll fix up that thing and I'll show you, and start cleaning up the wiring. Okay, I've got this switched on, 12.34, no amps going anywhere, but the battery is hooked to here. Now you can simulate the key turned on by touching this to it, but I gotta clean that off a bit. Hang on. Yeah, so I got that cleaned off a bit. So you can simulate key turned on, and what I'll do is I'll just put you down for a second, and then I'm gonna click that into there. Watch. You can wait and see. Should be some action on this thing. Should start turning on and off. Ouch. I got myself clipped in. Ay, ay, ay. Those things are sharp. There. Okay. OBD2 thing's on. That's the thing cycling. That's this relay here cycling to what am I trying to say? Cycling the power for the fuel pump, which is the only thing that's really hooked on there. That's this wire. So, but anyway, here's the way the loom will go. I've got this. This is your computer here, and it goes out into the motor like that'll. The computer will sit right there on the edge of this thing right here, and there's a cabinet that goes over the top of it. Drill a hole down into this part here. Then I don't know, you can't see that because it's all dark in there. See that black box there? That's where the power comes to from the Volkswagen van. So from the key up there. So these connectors here will hook into there. And one of them is oil. The green one there is the oil pressure. This red one is just power from the battery. And the red with a blue stripe is key on. So when you turn the key on up there, then this should light up. Then what's going on now? Then down in there, that part of the structure, that part of the wiring harness goes down to the front of the engine. This branches off. So this stuff here, there's a ground plus a what else there? Ground plus power for the starter, like there's just for the starter solenoid right there, and then there's also a speed sensor to the speed. There'll be a speed sensor, wheel speed sensor down there. And what's this one? This is a fuel pump, goes along that. This part here comes over to the mass airflow sensor. Then it also goes to this thing over here. Oh, something did something. I must unhook something. I'll just check into that. Hang on. Yeah, I had a ground on here that I knocked off. So this part here goes, that's a mass airflow sensor, and down this thing here, there's a sensor that goes in there. I don't know what it is. I don't have it. And then over here, there's another sensor. This is the igniter thing. Don't knock off my ground. And then this part here goes to the fuel relay, ignition relay, and that'll be the fan relay. I haven't got it wired up yet. Then it goes, this is the OBD2 thing, and that's a, like, hook that up to do this testing business. It runs stuff when you hook that up. So, seems to work. And the OBD2 thing shows up on my phone, and it actually does stuff. Hang on, I'll get that out. This Bluetooth stuff. Sometimes it's just handier to have a OBD2 thing that's just hardwired, eh? But anyway, hit the connect button, and it's connecting to that sensor there. And then you can go, is this live data, right? Oh, I'll just click a few of these. Oh, I've got it all wrong here somehow. Anyway. Something that, like, you get that kind of stuff. Anyway, I've had it going before, but I don't know what I did wrong here. Fuel system status. Yeah, short term fuel. No, we don't want that. I want this. Absolute throttle position. That's what I want. Okay. Yeah, so there's the absolute throttle position there, and then when I push on the throttle, it should. You can't see that because it's, see how that went up and down, maybe? Did it? Yeah. It goes from 0 to 100%, and then back down to 0. Well, 0 to 90%. If I do it, push it all the way, it'll get to the 100%. Anyway, that just says that the this thing is reading data happening out there. Okay. Anyway, that seems to be okay. I think I'm happy with this. And I think I'll just that'll be the end of this video because I think there's lots of it. And so next week I'll get this loom all put together. It's pretty near quitting time today anyhow. What time? Yeah, 20 to 5. So I'll get this loom all put together and taped up so it looks nice. And then next week we'll see about installing the loom permanently, and figure out the stuff that I'm missing. I'm still missing some bits. Now I ordered a few bits like the what do you call that? A speed sensor I ordered, and one of the sensors for the O2, the O2 that goes behind after the catalytic converter. I also ordered a catalytic converter, just a you know, a little one, one universal one. So that'll work, we hope. Then I'll start trying to get this stuff put together so that it's a real motor. Okay, that's all for this one. See you later. Yeah, February 4th. And the great hunter is in there looking for a squirrel. Don't know what he'll find. Anyhow, made it down to the beach today, or close, just about there. The dim and grim looking today, but not too cold, and just a little light skiff of snow came. We were supposed to get about a foot of snow, but then that happened over in Cape Breton. Didn't make it over this far. And there's some wind's been blowing the ice around, so you can see some open water out there. No open water there. Yeah, there you are. Open water out that way. And there's some right over here. The ice hasn't caked up over each other yet too much. So because there hasn't been, well, there's been pretty good winds, but it was a north wind, so it was blowing all the ice around to the other side, to the Nova Scotia side. There's some caked up ice right there. Can't see it because the light is a little bit odd. Anyway, and a dog, hey? Okay, see you later.